What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports show. Number 4. We've made it to number 4, and we finally get down to business this week. Are you excited for this?
Oh, I'm more than excited, Aaron. This is what we've been waiting on.
I know, yeah, we're very pumped. We've already got people talking in the chat about games going on tonight. We'll talk about a few of those a little bit later. A lot of really good games tonight, for sure. There's been a lot that's happened since our last show, though. Let's start with this. Cam Newton gets released yesterday. We wanted to talk about this real quick. How shocked were you that, number one, he's not going to be the starter, and then number 2, completely released by the Patriots?
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to rank it 8, probably. Yeah. I tried to figure out what went on in this. You know, there's a lot of scenarios you can run out there. Belichick supported him so much, you know, in the offseason. They brought him back. I can only think of a couple of things. Number one, he must not have outplayed Mac Jones. That's the first thing I can think of. And number 2, they probably went to him and said, hey, you're not going to start. And he might have said, then release me. Yep. You know, and I don't know. I don't know. But it's really strange. And you know, then there's been the rumors about he wasn't vaccinated.
I don't know if I believe that or not.
Well, Belichick said that had anything to do with it, and I don't think it did either.
No.
I just don't think he played well enough, and they decided to go with the younger guy. I mean, I think that's pretty much what they did.
Yeah, and I'm with Dennis. I mean, not starting, I wasn't really shocked at that, but just a complete release, that was shocking. And I'm with you. I think it had to do – mostly if they asked him, hey, yeah, or they told him you're not going to start. And I think he just said, well, then I can just be released and go somewhere else. I don't know where he's going to end up. I don't know what he's got left. If you watch the Patriots last year, he was not very good. So, yeah, I'm not too much of a surprise either. But I was a little shocked. That happened right before I got on the Rocket Hour on Tuesday. And I was pretty surprised by that news. So,
yeah, you texted me and I thought, wow. Because we had talked about this at length on the last show about, you know, him bringing Belichick bringing him back, and we were talking about how he must be a good guy in the clubhouse and all of that, or he wouldn't have messed with him. And I think he's got a lot of pride, and I think he just decided, hey, I don't want to sit on the bench here, so he's going to take his chances and see where he goes. And like you say, you know, Houston's been mentioned, you know, I think even Dallas was mentioned, but I think they cleared that up. They signed somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think, you know, as the season goes on, people will get hurt and end up landing somewhere. So
I think the best answer to it is, though, I don't really think it matters. I don't think he's an impact player anymore, no matter where he goes. And so I think that's kind of what it comes down to. It's just a situation where they just went with the younger guy, and I think that makes a ton of sense, honestly. And we'll see what happens. We kind of debated who would be the first rookie quarterback to play, and we didn't think it would be Mac Jones because that schedule sets up pretty well for New England to start, and we thought they'd win some games. Obviously, that's a different story now. We should talk real quick. This is week 1 of college football, but there was a week 0. We talked about 2 games. Nebraska, Illinois did not go your way. Tried to talk you out of it. What is going on at Nebraska? This was a terrible performance by the Cornhuskers.
Well, I tell you what, I know you did, and I bought into the Nebraska crap, you know, because I'm from that generation. And I watched the game, and you know, I don't know Scott Frost, never met him, obviously. Why would I? And he's getting beat up in the press like crazy. And I'm not going to do that because I tell you what, coaching is difficult, and we don't know what all's going on up there. But watching, all I can do is comment on what I saw. And the mistakes they made are just undisciplined, stupid type of errors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got to go a little, the coaching staff has to take a little bit of blame for that. I mean, you can tell a kid, never catch the football inside the 10-yard line, and you got to trust that he will do that. And then he goes out and doesn't. I mean, you've told him over and over and over again, and he does that. Well, there's nothing you can do about that. But that there was just so many things. But the thing that got me the most, and I know you're in Saratoga and couldn't watch a lot of it, they were controlling the game. And they were up 9-2.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, 9-2. And by the way, there was a missed extra point in there, and it just, they missed 2 extra points. Come on. And anyway, it was 9-2, and they hit the quarterback, and they got a questionable, penalty. He got in there, and it was questionable whether he was roughing the passer or not. So it was a hit that was illegal by the rules now. But anyway, and then on that pass, he threw the ball and they intercepted the pass. So they had an interception, 9-2 lead. They were in total control, probably would have won the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, not only did he hit the quarterback, after the quarterback is laying on the ground, by the way, knocked him out of the game. He never played another down. He's taunting him.
Yeah.
He's taunting him. That's uncalled for, unnecessary stupidity. So they didn't get a 15-yard penalty. They got a 30-yard penalty. And long story short, Illinois went down and scored, tied it up, then got a scoop and run into the end zone on a fumble to make it 16-9, came out, scored first 2 times they had the ball in the third quarter. That's a sign that Nebraska quit. And that's another issue that I think they have to address.
So I know you're not going to bash a coach on this show ever, but you brought up 3 points, right? When you're poor across the board on special teams, that's a bad sign for the coach. I'm not saying that a kicker misses field goals. He can't cover that. He can't help that. But you miss extra points. You make mistakes, with fielding punts multiple times. Number 2, you're undisciplined and you get a taunting penalty. Like I said, the late hit or the hit to the helmet or whatever, that is what it is right now in college football and in the NFL.
Right.
They're going to call it, but the taunting is that has to get under control. And then they quit when they felt adversity. 3 very bad signs. And then as Kevin knows, even worse, they got beat by a backup quarterback. The backup quarterback comes in for Illinois and is better than the starter.
Right. And the other thing that's baffling to me is they've gone with the same quarterback for the 4 years he's been up there.
He's awful.
He's not very good.
Yeah.
And you would think they could get somebody other than that. And I'm not that familiar with the Nebraska program anymore. But, Aaron, this is a question that probably we don't have time to mess with it much today, but are they ever going to get back? I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder. I mean, it has been 20 years since they've been relevant.
Yep.
As far as winning national championships, and they used to compete for those every year. And there's so much has changed in college football since when they were so good.
Yep.
And
it's unbelievable how they've fallen.
It is.
But we don't want to talk about Nebraska the whole show, even though we probably could, because we kind of secretly enjoy that they're terrible. But there was the other game, and we'll go to this one. We don't have to talk about much at all. But UCLA looked very, very good. We both picked them to beat Hawaii with the point spread, obviously. And they looked very, very good. They've got LSU coming in. We might mention that game a little bit earlier, or a little bit later, I should say. But UCLA, they took care of business, got the job done, did what they were supposed to do. I thought they looked good.
They did, and they were very impressive. They ran the ball really well. Hawaii's just an average. Mountain West team. Mountain West is decent, but they're not very good, especially when they come to the mainland. So we don't know yet. They're going to find out Saturday how good they are, because the competition is going to be 100% better when LSU comes to town. And I think we probably will discuss that game maybe a little bit more later.
Yeah, we definitely will. All right, let's get into it, though. I'm going to put up the first game on the board. We've got some great games this weekend in college football. We're going to talk about 5 ranked opponent versus ranked opponent games. And then we're going to give our lock of the week. We're going to give our underdog of the week and the game we're most excited for. And then also probably address a couple more if there's comments about some other games. But we got to start with this one. Number 3 versus number 5. It's Clemson and Georgia. This game's going to be played in North Carolina, so on a neutral field. I'll put that up there now in Charlotte, North Carolina. Clemson comes into the game as a 3-point favorite over the Bulldogs. Where are you going in this game? What do you think about this one?
Well, this is one that I've bounced around ever since I started writing previews back in July.
Yeah.
This is difficult. The line is perfect, but it could just as easily be Georgia -3. So it's a very difficult game to give any kind of an opinion on, because there's just things we don't know about these two teams yet. I've got to commend both of them for playing a game like this.
Yes.
To start the season. This may be one of the best games ever to start the season. Certainly one of the top 5 ever. What a game. This has playoff, it's like a playoff game, really. And we were talking yesterday, neither team is going to get hurt if they lose. The problem's going to be they got to run the table after this game, and that's going to be harder for Georgia to do than Clemson. But in the voters' eyes for the playoffs, if they go ahead and run the table and everything breaks right, one of them will make the playoffs. So it's not going to hurt them too bad when they lose. It's going to put a lot of pressure on them. You talked me into it at the beginning. I was Georgia, but the more I have researched this, I'm not going to say his name, but because I can't, the Clemson quarterback, the old DJ, he is, I think he's better than the Georgia quarterback. And I think his feet and his ability to make plays are going to be the difference. So I'm switched, and I'm going to think Clemson's going to cover. But I tell you what, the red flag right here is up. I'm going to bet a little bit on it, just to have some action.
Yeah, I actually like Clemson a little more here, a little more confident than you, but I'm with you. Maybe if I had a yellow flag, I would put that as the caution. Maybe not.
I got one of those.
There you go. Put up the yellow flag for me there.
All
Yeah.
right.
Listen, this game is going to be a lot of fun, and you're exactly right. And I'm with you. I don't think the loser is out of the college football playoff talk at all. At all. I think they'll be right in the mix all the way through. It's a bigger game for Georgia, though, in my opinion, because of what you said. Georgia's got a tougher road to win all of them after this.
No doubt.
Clemson has got a pretty easy road, relatively easy road. I'm going Clemson, though. I'm with you. Listen, I think their quarterback is fantastic. I don't think they're going to drop off much from there. And you might think, well, that's crazy. Trevor Lawrence was the #1 pick last year. I know, but I think this guy's really, really good as well. And this is the biggest thing. And Russ commented, Clemson -3, not sure about Georgia's offense. That's where I'm at. This college football has really changed, and I would say it started 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, you have to have a good defense to win, but the days of winning games like this, in this situation, and the big stage with a big-time offense, the days of winning that game 17-13 are over. If Georgia holds them to 24 points, they've done a pretty good job. That's good defense now in the modern day of college football. I'm with Russ. I don't trust that Georgia's going to be able to score enough. I think Clemson gets it done in a 28-21 type of game. I think Georgia plays really well. I think they hang with them. I don't know. I don't think they can stop Clemson enough.
Yeah, I would agree with Russ on that too, and that's kind of what swayed my mind. I just feel like the Clemson quarterback's more dynamic than JT Daniels is in Georgia. Yeah. Also, Kevin here had a comment when I was writing my picks for the website. I did mention the fact that both coaches, because I always try to compare the coaches, they're both great coaches, and most programs in the country would take them. No doubt about it. But Kirby Smart has not been able to break through in one of these games yet, and Dabo Swinney has. And if that makes a difference, I don't know. But it is something to kind of think about when you're in a game like this.
Yeah, Kevin is not sure on Kirby Smart, and then Russ says Dabo greater than Kirby. It's easy to say that, and I can't really argue it. I mean, Dabo Swinney, he may be greater than anybody other than the guy down south at Alabama and Nick Saban. Dabo, and here's the deal about Dabo. I'll put that back up here real quick. When he got to Clemson, they weren't very good.
No, they weren't.
Don't forget that.
And I'll tell you another thing, Aaron, they've been good off, and I'm kind of a college historian. They've been good off and on through the years, but they've never been able to maintain the consistency that they're at now. And when you root for a big time program like we do, that consistency is tough to keep, man, because everybody's after you. He's kept assistants there. It's a great place to coach, evidently. So, of course, they pay their assistants very well, too. So, and Kirby Smart, I don't want to knock him. He's done a hell of a job at Georgia. They weren't very good when he went in there either.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Dennis says over the 50.5. He can't see playing a team on either side, but he might play the point total. Dennis, I think that point total is about where it should be. I could see that bet cashing, but I'm not quite certain how that game's going to be played. I think that's interesting. And then if Georgia was at home, we'd have a whole nother thing to chat about. I agree.
Well, that's true.
Obviously, a neutral field evens the playing field quite a bit. I think if Georgia was at home, they might be a favorite. Or
I do too. And I guarantee you that those two teams were not going to play a home and home. That was going to be a neutral side game.
No, exactly. This is definitely the game to watch, though. It's going to be a showdown for sure. Let's move on, though, because we've got the number one team in the nation also playing a ranked team this weekend as well. As I scroll here, Alabama, this game we played in Atlanta. Alabama takes on Miami in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Alabama, 19.5-point favorite here over the Hurricanes. A lot of players, a lot of new players for Alabama, a lot of holes you got to fill, right? So what do you think of the Crimson Tide here going up against Miami?
Well, I don't know what to think about them. I haven't seen them. We got new guys. First of all, this is a home game for Alabama. It's going to be Sea of Red. It's going to be Tuscaloosa. That'd be Tuscaloosa East, Alabama East. Miami's not going. They don't have the fan support that Alabama does. So it's going to be a Sea of Red in Atlanta. 19.5 is a huge points. And what I try to do, and I look at these, I start just visualizing in my mind what I think the final score is going to be before I ever look at a line. And so I start saying, okay, 19.5. Okay. 42-23 is 19. That's a pretty good margin to beat a ranked team when you start the season. And then the other thing that could possibly happen in these kind of games, and you've seen it as well as I have, let's say Alabama pulls away late, they get up 41-17 with like 2 minutes to go, and they put some different guys in there, and they play that prevent defense, and Miami goes down and scores to make it 41-24. I could see that happening too.
Backdoor.
So I weighed all that in, and the fact that they've got so many new people, and they're not replacing shitty players.
Right.
I mean, my God, when you look at Mac Jones, he's starting for the New England freaking Patriots. That's Sunday. That was their quarterback last year. Najee Harris, incredible running back. Devontae Smith, my God, the numbers he put up last year. Anybody in the world but Alabama would not be a 19.5-point favored in this game, losing that many players. I'm probably going to – you can't swear here, Curtis? Oh, I didn't know that. I probably am making a mistake, but I can't go against that line. I haven't seen Alabama yet. I'm sure those guys are good. They wouldn't be there if they weren't. I'm going to go with Miami. I think Alabama's going to win, obviously, but I think Miami's going to I'm going to take Miami plus the 19.5.
So there's a first underdog of the show here, Miami plus 19.5. To be fair, we talked about this game since July, like you said, when the previews started coming out and we really got to discussing. And you've always been on the side of Miami in this game as far as the points go. You've said, look, I don't care how good those guys are. It's a ton of new players against an experienced team. I'm going to go Miami plus 19.5. And what have I told you for the whole time? You're out of your mind. Alabama will destroy Miami. And I think they will. I'm on Alabama's side. I get it. They do have to reload here, but that's exactly what they do. They don't rebuild, they reload. I think they've got better athletes across the board than Miami. I'm not sold on Miami as far as being back to that, era of Miami football where they could show up and out athlete you, or at least match up against these good teams. I don't think they're there yet. I think they're going to get a rude awakening when they come in there. I think it's going to be something like 42-10 Alabama. I think they cover easy. I don't think we're even have to sweat it. So that's one of a few we're going to be on a disagreement with. But I've got Alabama winning this one big. I just can't see Miami matching up. Now, let's go to your favorite team, the Iowa. I can't even laugh. I can't say it without not laughing. The Iowa Hawkeyes are at home. They're 3-point favorites against the Indiana Hoosiers. The Hoosiers come calling. Iowa -3. I guess I know where you're going, but make it official. Who are you picking in this one?
Well, I've got to go with the Hawkeyes. My God, what do you think? This is a hard game to pick.
I hold up your red flag for me in this one. This is a tough one. Yeah.
If it wasn't the Hawkeyes, I would. Yeah, it's a red flag, no doubt about it. I'm not gonna bet much. Yeah. This game could go either way. I don't know. Here's my take on this, and I might be wrong. I don't think Indiana's as good as people think they are. 6-2 last year. Yeah, that's impressive, but it's COVID. And they really didn't play the good teams in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. I mean, they coming in here with some momentum. Their quarterback situation, the guy's really good if he's healthy. Iowa's just going to play the way they always do. They don't give, they just show up and they run the ball and they'll throw a little pass to the tight end and they'll play good defense. And at the end of the game, if they make the field goal, they win. That's pretty much what they do. And sometimes they miss that field goal. And it doesn't matter who they're playing, but I love the way they play. I love to watch them. They don't have the great athletes, but from a coach's point of view, I think he does as good a job as think of Iowa's recruiting base.
Yeah.
They got to go recruit cows out in cornfields. They don't have any recruiting base. Where are they going to get these guys? So, and he just keeps winning 8-9 games every year. He's a great coach. He might not be able to coach anywhere but there, but he's a great coach. I see this game as 24-21. Yeah. I really do. I think it's got that written all over it. But I went ahead and went with Iowa because you made me pick somebody. So, but it's with the red flag, no doubt about it.
You summarized Iowa football in a few seconds there better than anybody ever has in the history of commentary.
Well, I watch them.
You're going to scrounge around. They're going to run the ball. They're just going to, and then if they make the field goal at the end, they win. That's Iowa football.
And sometimes they miss.
Sometimes they miss it. New kicker this year, Kevin O says, look out.
Can I change my pick then, Kevin?
Russ says, Iowa will ugly this up, win by 10. That's definitely possible, Russ. Out of all the games we're talking about on this show today, this is the one I'm least confident of, but I did pick Indiana +3.
You hate Iowa. It's unbelievable.
I just know how they are. Now, here I will say this: I had the game 24-21.
I do
Indiana,
too.
And you had it 24-21 Iowa.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
My thing is, I think this isn't true, but I think the new kicker will miss that field goal.
I tell you what, Kevin, I didn't see that. Yeah, I'm still going with the Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
Remember Kevin or Aaron, our good buddy, Ron from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a Hawkeye guy. And every time I say Hawkeyes, I think of him.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be watching that game and getting pissed when Indiana wins 24-21. Curtis says
fired the coach.
Yeah, exactly. And then want to fire the coach. Good linemen on both sides. Nothing like a group of big old corn-fed boys.
Well, Curtis, right. You're absolutely right, but you need a bunch of big old boys that can run the football.
Dennis says, with that one comment, Magic sounds like he knows college football. Yeah. Listen, this is not a game I'm too excited about, but it should be a very close, competitive game. I think it'll be entertaining. So we'll say that about it. How about we stick with the Big Ten, though, and we travel to Madison, Wisconsin. That's right. The Penn State Nittany Lions go into the Madhouse, Madison, Wisconsin, to take on the Badgers. Wisconsin here, -5.5. I think the line is set pretty good there for a a Big Ten showdown, so to speak. 11 a.m. kick. Here we go. Who you got here? Penn State or Wisconsin?
Well, first thing I want to say on this show, we are picking the tough games.
Oh, yeah.
And we're picking the point spreads.
Yep.
The big boys on ESPN, they'll have all these lined up at the end of the show, and I love to watch it. And all they do is pick who's going to win.
Yeah.
Well, hell, maybe we ought to do that. It'd make us look smarter, wouldn't it?
No,
because these point spreads suck.
We got to have it going. We're betting these games.
That's right. And this is a toughie.
Yeah.
And two teams very similar. And I wrestled this one around too. 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, I sat around and said, okay, what's the score going to probably be? And I kept coming up with 24-20, 27-23. I never did get to 27-21.
Well,
I just decided, and it may be. I don't. They're so similar. Wisconsin's going to do the same thing Iowa does, only they're going to be a little bit better at it.
Yep.
It's basically where you're at. Penn State is kind of the same, and sometimes Penn State's a little bit throws the ball a little bit more than Wisconsin. The games at Wisconsin, I think they're going to win. I'm going with Penn State to beat the spread.
Wow, Penn State plus 5.5 for Papa Dude. We're gonna differ again. I'm pretty confident Wisconsin covers this. I think it's going to be like a 31-14 Wisconsin type of win. I'm not high on Penn State. I don't think they're that great.
Wait a minute. You ranked them in the top 15, I believe.
Did I rank Penn State in the top
15?
15?
You come on there and said I always overrank these guys.
Oh, well.
Well, you've been to Saratoga a couple times since then.
I was going to say I've had who knows? Who knows? I mean, I didn't really pay attention to those rankings. I'm talking about betting. I don't care about rankings. I want to bet, and I want Wisconsin minus 5.5.
Okay.
I think they run the ball. I think they control the clock. I think their defense is going to be the difference. I think they're going to be able to hold Penn State down. I'm not sold on the Penn State offense. All those crazy fans in Madison, Wisconsin, they're going to be going nuts at Camp Randall on Saturday morning. They're going to have their Baileys and their coffee. Wisconsin rolls 31-14. You heard it here first. This was almost my lock, but
I'm going to be 31-14.
Well, we'll see.
No.
We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Now let's talk about your favorite school. The Texas Longhorns open up their season with another new head coach who's supposed to be the savior of the program. We'll see what happens here. Steve Sarkisian era begins in Texas. Texas, they going to have to play a ranked opponent, believe it or not. Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns from Lafayette come in. Texas is 21. Louisiana, number 23. Only an 8-point favorite for the Longhorns here. Where are you going?
Well, I just wrote the article on this one, so it's kind of clear in my head. Did you ever think you'd see a Sun Belt team come into Austin, Texas, and only be an 8-point underdog?
No,
neither did I. Texas didn't schedule them to win by 8. I guarantee you that.
No.
Now, when you go down position by position like I do, Louisiana has players that, on paper anyway, match up a little bit with Texas. But I finally, this is my lock of the week. I don't know was I supposed to mention that now?
Well, no, you can go ahead. Yeah, that's the next.
That's my lock of the week.
You love Texas.
Yes. I mean, come on. Do they not have better players than Louisiana?
They should.
Well, of course they should. I mean, these idiots that rank these recruiting classes, which I think are full of crap, they always rank Texas number 5 or 4 or 3 or 7 every year.
Yeah.
So they're obviously recruiting a lot of great athletes. Now, it hasn't shown on the scoreboard the last few years, so maybe these recruiting people don't know what they're talking about, which I don't think they are. But anyway, they've got better players than Louisiana does. And if they don't win by more than 8 points, it's going to be a long year at Texas.
I look at it from an OU standpoint. If Louisiana came in, and I realize OU's been better than Texas, but if Louisiana comes to Norman, I expect to be, not hardly even watching the game by the third quarter.
Absolutely, that's what I was thinking about too, Aaron. And Texas, they went 7-3 last year. They
Mhm.
played better. Now, the problem with Texas is we don't know what their quarterback situation is.
Yeah.
They lost Sam Ellinger, and he was the heart and soul of that team. I'm not saying he was great, but he was that football team. Everything they did revolved around him. But they got a great running back coming back. Their offensive line is solid. They got better defensive players in Louisiana. They have to. I don't know why the line's 8. I don't know. Somebody might know something more than I do. But I think if they were coming into Norman, Oklahoma, and even if we were in Texas's position, 52-17. When you say,
Yeah, I would still think it would be a blowout. Exactly.
so I'm going Texas all the way on this.
Now, here's the deal. Think about this.
I'm
Louisiana
thinking-
first game last year went to Iowa State and won. So
I know
that
but
explains the line.
it probably does.
So I get it.
They're good too. They're
geez.
good.
Kevin and
I
I
don't
said the same thing at the same time. Look at that.
Yeah,
They won.
great minds think alike. Listen,
I know.
this is a no-win for me. If I get it right, good. If I miss it, I'm going to be laughing all the way home from Norman, Oklahoma.
Oh, we'll have tears in our eyes if
Oh.
Texas loses this game. So
honking our horns.
tears of joy, I should say. All right, now we're going to go to the section of the lock it up dog of the
Well,
week.
wait a minute. Who are you picking on this?
Oh, I'm picking Texas. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm picking Texas.
Texas is going to cover?
I always pick Texas to cover. Or if they're underdog, well, same thing. Pick them to cover, and then if I get it right, then I got it right.
Yeah.
And if I miss it,
It's great.
Great.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Oh, we'll go right to the lock of the week segment because that's where we were going next. And you have the Louisiana, Texas. You have Texas -8. I think it's a decent lock. I thought about it a little bit. I thought about a lot of games. I don't think there's one that really stood out to me. But I thought this one was really interesting. My lock of the week, West Virginia at Maryland. Maryland is a 3-point underdog at home against a shitty Big 12 team, West Virginia. I know Maryland's not very good. West Virginia's not either. I think Maryland's getting better. I'm not sure about West Virginia. I'm going to go, and this could have been my underdog of the week, but I've got another dog we're going to talk about in a second. I think Maryland wins this game outright. I'll take the 3 all day for the insurance. I'm going Maryland to beat West Virginia here. What do you think about that one?
That is another I took Maryland also. Not sold on Maryland at all. Now, if the game was in West Virginia, you'd take West Virginia, wouldn't you?
Probably would. Yeah,
I think that's the difference.
West Virginia does not play well on the road.
No, they don't. That was my deciding factor. They lost every road game they played last year.
Yeah.
And so that was the deciding factor. I had Maryland they're not very good. So.
Well, they're not, but they're not just awful either.
No.
So
their offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
They usually can score some points. I think they win that game too. I'm going to agree with you.
We got some other people chiming in on some of the games they really like. Dennis is all over. Did I say all enough there, Dennis? I think I did. Texas A&M -28.5. Dennis really likes that one.
No, they're playing Kent State.
Yeah, and
he's
listen.
Right.
I think if the quarterback is decent, I think Texas A&M moves the ball and it probably.
Well, don't you think they could take a junior high quarterback and they ought to beat Kent State by more than 28.5?
Well, if you want to put it that way, yes, I do. So, listen, Dennis had Fresno last week. Maybe he gets Texas A&M here. Dennis has got another one, but I want to get to this one because it made me chuckle.
Uh-oh.
Because we have family that are Arkansas fans.
Uh-oh.
Russ says Rice +19.5. They travel to the land of the hog, Fayetteville, Arkansas, to play the Razorbacks. I think Arkansas will cover this, but Russ says +19.5 for the Owls. What do you think?
Well, I remember whenever you were talking yesterday that might be your lock of the week was Arkansas covering.
I know, and then I you know what happened? I woke up today and I got ready to write that as my lock, and I said, well, that's kind of sickening to count on Arkansas, and so I went with somebody else.
Well, I'm going to say the same thing about Arkansas that I did Texas. If they don't win, by more than that cover, but it's the first game.
Yeah. New quarterback there, sort of.
Yeah.
I think KJ Jefferson's going to start. He
I
has.
would think Arkansas will cover, but I don't know.
I think they will too, but I think that's funny that somebody said that. I love that.
Dennis has got another one here.
Dennis has also got Auburn minus 37. They play the tough Akron Zips, who they're your worst team, right?
No, they jumped up to number 2.
Oh, they're number 2
because
on the bottom.
We had a team lose within the bottom 10 to another bottom 10, and they automatically get the number 1 spot whenever that happens. And in my bottom 10 poll, by the way, when you move up, that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah. So Akron went from 1 to 2 and didn't play.
Yeah.
And in the bottom 10 poll, that's good. When you don't play, that's a victory. 37. Well,
it's a lot of points, but I think they cover it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. A lot of crazy things can happen late in the game, though, when you got a bunch of guys in there, especially opening game, you're going to play a bunch of people.
You do get into the danger zone with this kind of spread. Like the A&M 28.5 is one thing. Now you're at 37 with Auburn. Yeah. You do get into they were 37 points better, but they played the 4th team and Akron got it going late.
Yeah. Well, think about it. 51-14. 51-15. That is a freaking slaughter, but you only won by 36. So I don't like to get into those too much.
Yeah. Kevin O says Bama rolls Miami. That's my boy.
See, Kev.
Listen, Kevin and I think a lot of the same things. Okay.
Right.
Arkansas hasn't beat a team by 20 in 3 years. Best wide receiver.
They haven't played Rice, though.
Well, that's true. Best wide receiver out, best defensive tackle out. Go Hogs, but going to be tough. Russ, if it's tough to beat Rice,
that's what I'm Russ,
sorry.
If you guys are worrying about beating Rice, what are you going to do with Alabama, Auburn, and all those guys?
I think we know the answer to that, but they're going to beat Rice. I think
they're going to beat them.
Being a little worrisome as like a fan.
The over-under we ought to do is how many people will be in Fayetteville on Saturday to see that.
Well, I think it'll be a good crowd. No, yeah.
I don't know.
It should be a pretty good crowd. They're pretty excited because they got Texas coming in next. That will be madness. All right, let's go to the dog of the week, underdog of the week here. Papa Dude, he is a Mac Brown hater. Look at this.
No, I'm not.
North Carolina at Virginia Tech. This game's going to be on Friday. I'll pull it up now. 5.5-point underdog for the Hokies, and you got the Hokies here.
Yeah, I just decided, week 1, I'm going to just throw out some junk here, and if I hit it, I'm going to look like a genius. If I don't, I'll look like an idiot, and that's what I am. So, I got nothing to lose again on this one. So, I really think that North Carolina is overrated. I think they've got a good quarterback. By the way, I like Mac Brown a heck of a lot better than I did like 10 years ago when he was at Texas, or 10 or 11, however long it's been. And I kind of liked him then too, especially when we would kill him. But anyway, he was always hilarious after that. But I'm not a real big Virginia Tech fan. I'm not high on him. I think it's a tough opening game. I really do. Carolina lost a lot of pro players. They lost 4 guys and went to the pros. I know they have a quarterback back, and he's good. Tech hasn't been very good. I just think this could be a tough opening game for the Tar Heels. And the 5.5, I'm just betting Virginia to beat that spread. I'm not sure they're going to win. I just think they'll beat the 5.5. I think it's going to be a close game.
I don't know about that one. That one could go either way. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
I had to pick somebody.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I didn't have to.
I didn't pick no 3-point game that could go either way. That was kind of a.
Well, no, this is my dog of the week. That was the lock of the week. I was locked in underdog, and now I'm going to lock. Or I'm going to say this.
Okay, I got. Well, look at this 3-point dog of the week. Oh boy! All right.
Well, I know. Maybe it's a
okay. That's all right.
But
Stanford
and Kansas State, they're going to play in AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, which that's strange, right?
Very strange.
For those 2 teams. Let me pull this up here. You can get, I'm going to highlight this. You can get tickets to this game for $5.
Isn't that about the same price as a high school game?
I think if you went to our high school game, well, if you went to like Webb City, it might be like $10 to get in. In Joplin, where I live, so that's right. $5, you can walk into AT&T Stadium and see these two exciting powerhouse teams, Stanford and Kansas State. If you see a pattern here, you're seeing it right. I'm against the Big 12 pretty much all the time. I think it's a horrific conference. Kansas State, a 3-point favorite. Why? I have no idea. I think Stanford +3. I think they cover it. I think they win it outright. So I'm going to go with Stanford to get the job done here against Kansas State. I'm not a Kansas State believer.
No, I can't disagree with you. I think they'll. Now, if it was in Manhattan, it'd be a little different. But I think Stanford's better than they are. I'd pick them outright too, no doubt.
Let me see something here. Let me see if this is the cheapest game. Look at this. I'm at the MAC, okay? You can go watch Western Illinois and Ball State, $17.
17.
Wagner.
This one.
Wagner sounds like an individual. That does not sound like a school. Wagner.
And it costs $11 to get into that.
$11 to get in. Bowling Green at Tennessee. Well, that's Tennessee, 23. St. Francis at Eastern Michigan. What the hell? $53.
My God.
Michigan, the Michigan game for 14, Cincinnati 28, Missouri 15, Auburn 10, Ohio, Syracuse $32. I mean, $5. That's unbelievable.
I've never heard of such a thing.
No. All right, let's get into the game we're most excited to watch this week. I'll put yours up there first. You got Clemson and Georgia. That's the one you're most excited for?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's the only one I'm going to get home in time to see. You and I had an unexpected. I think you're going to talk about that here in a minute, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll hold on.
Yeah, don't steal my thunder.
Yeah, that's right. So let's see. I didn't do it. This game would be the one I would. There's a lot of great games. I am looking forward to that Ohio State Minnesota game tonight. I think that'll be really good. You don't, but I do. And anyway, even if it's not, I want to see what Ohio State's got. But this game has, like I said, all the makings of a playoff type game. These two teams could see each other again down the road, maybe. So that's the one for me.
All right. I got a few comments here. We're going to get to in a second. And I'll talk about my most exciting game. Then we'll wrap this thing up with your comments and a couple of games tonight. Most exciting for me, this is pretty darn easy. Tulane at Oklahoma. Now, if you didn't know, Oklahoma was supposed to travel down to New Orleans to play the Green Wave on Saturday, but with the hurricane coming through, the game was moved to Norman, which means me and you get to go. We get to go to our first game since 2019. We did not go last year because of COVID. So if you didn't know, we've been season ticket holders since 2000, and we've missed just a couple of home games since 2000 until last year. So it's good to be going back to Norman. We got 4 straight weeks of home games. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get back down there. So Tulane, Oklahoma, that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Can't wait to go down. And, when you have season tickets there, everybody always keeps them year after year. We make friends with a lot of people we sit by. We haven't seen those people in a couple of years. So it's exciting to get back down there. And even though the circumstances aren't great for why this game's going to be in Norman, I am excited that it is.
Oh, definitely. And, the funny thing is the guy that sits right beside me and he doesn't anymore, but he did for several years. We would talk and root and go hard. There was 2 guys that came from Arkansas, actually. I didn't know their names. Never knew their names. Sat by them all that time and never knew their names. That's how this is. The guy that sits beside me now, I don't know his name.
No.
Now, that's terrible when you think about it. But we're only there to watch the game. There's some of those people we've made a lot of friends with, and they're not. I just want to mention this. I always, anytime now, you don't have tickets anymore. Everything's on the phone and all that. And I got to thinking, I know people probably don't care about this, but I don't care either. I got to thinking about our best buddy, old Max.
Yeah.
Who tragically passed away.
Yeah.
It's probably been 5-6 years ago. How do you think he would have handled these tickets on his phone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if he ever would have got in the game.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that the other night. But
yeah.
I mean, it's always fun to go down there. And like you say, we haven't seen those guys in a while. And I wish it was a little bit better game, but we're getting to go, and the tickets. I see on here it says tickets as low as $68. Well, you could get in for 30. So
Yeah, you can buy them through the ticket office for $30. These are
yeah,
the
maybe that
secondary
in New
market.
Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna have fun.
Oh yeah, be a good time. I'm happy to be going back. Dennis says underdog game. He's thinking about East Carolina money line very lightly, but also covering the spread of 10.5 that he got. So East Carolina tonight. We'll talk about that in just a second. South Dakota to cover against Kansas. I thought this was a funny comment. Kansas is a 13.5 point favorite against South Dakota. You can go watch that game up at Lawrence, Kansas for $16.
Wow. I think it's expensive.
I wouldn't pay $6. I'm not touching that one.
No, I don't think they'll beat them more than that.
I don't either, but I also don't want to pick South Dakota.
No, I think Kansas will win.
Let's see. I'd rather play with my Ball State and stay home and keep my 17.
Pretty good, Dennis. That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That was
pretty good.
Like
Dennis had Oklahoma covering, but since the hurricane happened, I think they'll call the dogs off after up 28, maybe 21. That's possible.
No, Dennis. That's not the way OU thinks. That's not going to happen.
Here, what's a closer game? OU versus Tulane or OU versus Nebraska? Who plays OU closer?
God.
Tulane is my answer.
Well, right now, that's a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
You got to think Nebraska's going to get better. I don't know. I'd probably say Tulane also. Isn't that awful?
Tulane. It is awful. That's awful to say. Russ says he hopes Mike Woods has 12 drops versus OU. Mike Woods, the transfer from Arkansas, coming to Oklahoma.
Well, Russ, he may not be able to get on the field at Oklahoma.
Oh, he's going to be on the field. I've heard some good
I'm
things
kidding
about him.
They're really high on him.
Yeah, they are high on him. We'll see how that goes. I don't blame you at all, Russ. I would feel the same way. By the way, best value of the day as far as ticket prices go, $2 to watch Duquesne and TCU play. $2.
Did you know? Hey, do you realize that's in the Dallas area also?
I do know that. Yeah.
How well do they really love their football down there?
Yeah.
I'm sure the people at TCU think Duquesne's coming in to play exhibition basketball, probably.
Maybe that.
Did you know Duquesne had a team?
Did I know Duquesne had a team? No, I do not. Is that the actual? Let's see here. Yeah, the dude.
Oh, they've played a game.
Have they?
Yeah, Duquesne beats Sacred Heart. Oh, it's spring.
I was say there's no way they've had a game.
They got pretty uniforms.
Was that them? Let's see.
I believe it was. Yeah.
No, that's JSU.
Oh, it's JSU.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter. We're not going to talk. Who knew we were going to talk about Duquesne football today to end the show? All right. 2 games tonight. We ought to get to those real quick.
Yes.
Let me see if I can pull those up. The 2 biggies tonight. Boise State goes on the road to Central Florida. This game was at 5.5. Now it's at 6.5. 6.5 point favorite Central Florida. I think Gus Malzahn really fits Central Florida well. Boise State new head coach as well. Where did you go here? This is a really interesting matchup to start off the season.
Oh, this is a great game.
Yep.
And, unlike the Georgia Clemson, the loser of this, even though they don't have much of a chance to make the playoffs, completely out of it.
Yeah, done.
They got no chance.
Yep.
These are 2 really good group of 5 teams. I was trying to go with Boise State, but I couldn't when I started doing the matchups. And, Malzahn, you're right. He's going to be better suited for a little bit lesser pressure job, I think. He did a good job at Auburn. It just wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. I went with Central Florida when it was 5.5. I think it was maybe it was even 5 whenever I wrote the article on it. I think they're going to win. I think they're better than Boise State. I don't know. Boise State's slipping just a little bit, I think, and they're going through another coaching change, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I took Central Florida here. I think they're going to cover this, even at 6.5. I think they're going to cover it. This is a tough road trip for Boise State. That's the thing. All the way down to Orlando. That's going to be tough. So I went Central Florida. I think they get the job done. Oh yeah, I meant to put this up, Dennis. You commented earlier when we weren't quite on Thursday yet. Dennis has Tennessee minus 30 to 35. Let's analyze that one. They play Bowling Green now. That's up to 37 right now. Again, these large point spreads I get a little worried about. Do I think it's realistic that you win that bet? Yes. But I am worried about the large point spreads. Also, the debut of new head coach Josh Heupel for the Volunteers. So we'll see if he can kind of get that offense rolling that's been missing so much in Tennessee. What do you think about this one?
I don't know if they can score 37.
In the past, they have not been able to do that.
No, and God, when I was doing these previews, I could not believe all of the guys that transferred from Tennessee to other schools that are contributing.
Yep.
I think OU's starting. I don't know he's starting, but the running back's going to play a ton.
Yeah, they've got
And
two,
there was,
maybe three guys.
Offensive lineman.
Yep.
I mean, there's two guys that transferred from Tennessee into OU and have immediately made an impact. And there's others. There's tons of others that left there. I don't know what they've got. I know Bowling Green is awful, but 30, it's now 37. I don't think I would go with Tennessee. I don't know if they can win by 37. I really don't.
It's a little scary. If the offense gets going, they will, but you just don't know. He Dennis, being he loves East Carolina tonight, going to go easy, light on the money or on the money line, and then also play. I think you said you got it at plus 10, Dennis. It's now down to 9. We have family that went to East Carolina, right? Didn't Matt go to East Carolina?
Yes, he did. He did.
I think Matt's crying. I think Dennis is crying. I think Appalachian State big tonight in the home opener.
I've got them down as maybe one of my best bets.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't like that one, Dennis. The Tennessee one, maybe. I don't know about East Carolina. I'm not sold on them. Let's see. Final game we need to talk about before we go. Yeah, Dennis, great timing. You brought that up. This may be the biggest game of the. Well, I think maybe it is. Ohio State travels to Minnesota tonight. Ohio State a 13.5-point favorite. They're similar to Alabama. They got a lot of new players. Minnesota, you kind of know what they are. Good, not great most years. What do you see here? This is kind of a tricky opener for the Buckeyes.
I fought this one over and over and over again. I think Minnesota is better than a lot of people think. They got their running game is really good. Their quarterback's serviceable. It came down to this for me. Ohio State's Ohio State and Minnesota is Minnesota. And that's what it came down to me. It's down to 13.5 now. It's been 14. Now it's dropped to 13.5. I don't think that makes just a whole lot of difference. So, again, I started looking at scores. 31-17, 34-17, maybe 45-21, 45-24. I could see this being closer than that because, again, Ohio State's starting a lot of young people that haven't played, and they weren't very good on defense last year. They kind of scored a lot of points. I think they're going to struggle early in this game, but I think they'll hang in there and pull away down the stretch because I just think they have better athletes than Minnesota. So it came down to that. That is a tough game to pick, though, for me.
It is. It's definitely a tough game. I think listen, Ohio State's winning this game, okay?
Yes, they're going to win.
I think the line is set really, really, really well here. I kind of see it how Dennis kind of sees it. I think there's a chance Ohio State could struggle a little bit early. I think that Minnesota +7 in the first half isn't a bad bet. I think Ohio State covers this very, very late. I was talking to Lindsay last night. We were talking about this game, and I said, because she was leaning where you like we both have, I should say. I don't know. Minnesota may cover that. I just thought, late touchdown. Ohio State gets it done. Good game, though. Really good opener. There's definitely some intrigue into this game. Brand new quarterback for Ohio State. That could definitely play a factor as well, obviously.
Right.
On the road, going to be
tough. Minnesota's playing for this. Minnesota's playing for this all year.
Yeah.
They're going to be as sky high as their coach is. He's a motivator. Pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good. He's done a great job up there.
Yep.
Their quarterback was great 2 years ago, slumped last year. Can he get that going again? I mean, this is a tough opener for the Buckeyes. And again, they're kind of like OU.
Mhm.
Anywhere they go, you're going to get the other team's best shot. So I would be scared if I was an Ohio State fan.
Well, yeah, I oftentimes look at the big teams like I would mentally, okay, if OU's going to Minnesota tonight, I would not be relaxed about it for
No.
sure. I would think, well, there's potential they could get beat. I don't
Yeah.
think they will, and I don't think ultimately Ohio State will either. But it's a good game. It's definitely going to be entertaining tonight. Let's see, that one's on Fox at 7:00 p.m. Central. That's going to be the big one.
Perfect time.
Yes, I know.
This, here's another thing where this comes such a factor: is
Mhm.
turnovers, penalties, dumb mistakes, and give Minnesota points.
Yeah,
If they don't do that, then they win.
yeah, and
Are we going to do the LSU game?
Yeah, do you want to? Let's end with that one because we've talked about that. But
Well, we didn't do Notre Dame either.
Well, we could do.
That's fine.
Who cares? Okay. No, I'm kidding. UCLA, we'll do that one. UCLA, LSU. I think this is interesting because we did talk about UCLA last week. We both liked them to cover, and they did. This ain't Hawaii this week. This is LSU coming in to the Rose Bowl. UCLA, a 3-point underdog at home against an LSU team that really struggled last year. Kind of got it together late. What do you think of this one?
This line has never been any higher than 4 from the very start. This was before UCLA played well.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first things I looked at when the lines came out was, my God, LSU's only 4-point favorite over UCLA. It's gone down to 3. I'm all over this with LSU. I think they cover this. But there's factors that are involved here that we don't know how it's going to play into it. And that's the hurricane situation.
Yeah.
In Baton Rouge. They haven't been in Baton Rouge. They've been in Houston. That's a distraction. They probably have family that were involved somewhat in that. You don't know how this is all going to play out. It probably is going to be okay. They've got time to kind of digest all that before they go out there. But that's still a major distraction when you have to pack up, pull the whole operation to Houston, Texas, and then go on as normal. So that, that's an issue. Coupled with the fact that UCLA looked good last week. But here's the thing. LSU is going to be so much bigger across both fronts, the offensive line, the defensive line. They're going to have better athletes than UCLA does up front. And I think that'll be the difference. The other thing is, there was a lot of coaching problems at LSU last year, and Orgeron made a lot of changes. I see what Dennis got. He'll scream over at the sidelines to UCLA and scare them. I don't think he's going to scare Chip Kelly, Dennis. To tell you this, but coaches don't scare like that. They kind of look at the other guy and say, "What are you, an idiot?" So anyway, that's not going to happen. I think Ed Orgeron is a guy who, when he has the right assistants, he does a good job. When he makes the wrong hires, there's a problem. But I'm all over LSU. I would green flag this one. Go bet it. I think they're going to cover.
I'm not going to green flag it, but I am going to pick LSU. I do feel like they're the better team up front, and I think that will make a difference. But I think UCLA quietly continues to improve. I'd keep an eye on them. I think this could get close, but I am going to go LSU minus the 3. You talked me into it. Since we're having so much fun, we'll cover Notre Dame, Florida State, and Louisville Ole Miss to round this out. Notre Dame, this is going to be Sunday night on ABC. They travel down to Florida State. This is quite a rivalry. When these two teams get together, it's usually a hell of a game, no matter what the records are. Florida State trying to come back from just a shit season last year. Notre Dame trying to replace a quarterback, trying to replace a lot of guys. This is a big-time football game. Notre Dame ranked number 9, 7-point favorite. Who you got here?
Well, I did a lot of research on this last night when I was writing the article.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a tough game for Notre Dame, and they're a lot like Ohio State, Alabama, they're replacing a ton of offensive players, including a really good quarterback in Ian Book. Funny thing, all through the spring and everything I read about Florida State was the transfer, the Milton kid that came in there from Central Florida, who got hurt a couple of years ago. And that, if you remember, that leg injury was gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
All spring, he was the leader and all this, and he was great at Central Florida. And I thought, you know what, they need a quarterback. They might have a chance. Well, he's not starting.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep.
Which tells me he's not healthy. And so I feel a lot better about Notre Dame after I saw that. I don't think Florida State's near where they're going to be in a few years. I really like their head coach. I watched a lot of interviews with him last night. He seems like he's got it going. He was at Memphis and did a good job there. I think he'll turn it around. I don't think they're ready to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame's probably got a quarterback. I think their quarterback transferred from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
I read some stuff last night. I'm pretty sure it's him. So, they've got somebody up there that can play. And Brian Kelly's a heck of a coach. So I think they cover.
I think they will. I'm not sold on Florida State until they prove it. It's just, right. If you put it in horse racing terms, it's kind of like a horse that hadn't been running well, but he's got a lot of talent. Well, you got to prove it. Go out on the track and win once, and then maybe I'll back. Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame here as well, especially the 7 points. If it was a little bit more, maybe I'd start thinking about Florida State. But 7 points, Notre Dame should win by a touchdown.
Well, I think they're another one that's going to play them close and then get beat down at the end.
Yeah. So here's the last one, and I know these are your boys, Dennis. Louisville is a 10-point dog. Wow. Also, that under for the UL Ole Miss game, because what the hell was the line maker thinking? 75.5 is a lot of points. Ole Miss can score. There's no doubt. Mississippi can score. Neutral field for this game. Louisville, Ole Miss at Atlanta. -10. That's Mississippi there. 10-point favorite. I kind of think they cover this game. I kind of like Ole Miss a little bit this year. I think their offense is explosive enough to score enough to cover against Louisville, but I think it's going to be a competitive game.
Well, I'll tell you, Dennis, why they got the line at 75. Let me read Ole Miss's scores last year.
It was nuts.
Yeah. Florida, they lost 51-35. Kentucky, they won 42-41. Alabama, 63-48. South Carolina, 59-42. LSU, 53-48. So there's where the line comes from. They obviously can score. They obviously can't stop anybody. Yeah. So I'm kind of with you. 75. Can Louisville score enough to keep up with them?
Yeah.
10 points. I think that's about right too. I think Louisville is going to be improved, but Ole Miss, if they can play any defense at all, has got a chance to win some games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say they're going to cover.
I think Dennis, you're probably looking at from Louisville's thought process because you watched them and you thought, how in the hell we're not going to get anywhere close to that, but Ole Miss's that defense is just shit, and it has been for a while. And I don't think it's going to get any better. So you might be able to score more than you think just because their defense is inept. That's definitely possible. Jared Bush says, I think Ole Miss wins and covers. Your comment here, Notre Dame and Florida State. Who do you like? That's a debatable game. Let us know who you like on that one.
Yeah.
We both took Notre Dame -7, but if you got a different idea, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it. I tell you what, I don't really want to get off the air because this is just fun talking about these games.
Sure is.
This is definitely the most fun I have on any show, just because it's new, number one, and I like talking about football. So
that's right.
That's great. Now, when we're talking about baseball in the summer, I may hate to come on there, but right now
I
it's
don't
fun.
think we'll have a show then.
Oh, Jared, yeah, we'll have a show. Jared says he thinks Florida State pulls an upset, so an outright winner there. I mean,
they could.
It's possible. It's early in the year. Notre Dame's got to replace, like we said, a lot of guys. I don't hate that pick, Jared. I think it's going to be a competitive game.
I just think, I was a little bit more on Florida State, but when Milton didn't start, and I saw their quarterbacks last year, they were so bad. And I don't even know who this other kid is. But it was a big surprise amongst the media down there too that he didn't start. So there's
Mhm.
something little fishy there. I don't know. He must have gotten hurt again. Is all I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. He likes the running game. We'll see. It's not bad. There's no question. They got a little better last year. And a lot of these teams I wouldn't hold last year
No.
too much against them. It's just been a weird year.
Well, here's a till too, Aaron. Florida
Mhm.
State's going to come back. They're not going to be dead
Right.
forever. They've got too much recruiting base down
Yeah.
there, and they get the right guy in there, and they give him some time.
Yeah.
They're going to come back. Whereas Nebraska, different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really don't.
Nebraska, not sure either.
No.
That's not a good
Beginning
situation.
to wonder.
Yeah. Yeah. They went through a lot of coaches. So
Hey, they got a toughie this week.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
Fordham.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
they get their.
They got their players off the streetcars, I think, up there in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not
Yeah.
streetcars, the subway.
The subways were flooded, according to Ricky. Not that he was on the
They
subway.
may not be able to field a team then.
He had heard that the subways are flooded.
Yeah, I did. I heard that too.
Russ says he's betting against FSU till they show me something. Yeah, the Russ. That's what I said as well.
Yeah.
I'm not against them. I'm not a hater of them. I don't think they're going to be awful. I just kind of want to see what they do before I back them. Yeah, and I'm very excited you're watching, Jared. That's great. Yep, you're on all the time, and we're excited. It's not just college. We'll talk NFL as well, so it'll be a lot of fun. So, all right, I think that's going to do it. We went a little over, but not bad. We kept it.
No, we did better this time.
Yeah, we kept it where it needed to be. Listen, it's going to be fun. OU this week for us, so we'll be back on Monday. That's right, a Monday show to report on what we saw this week, including the OU game and many other things. Yeah, good luck to everybody that's going to wager on this. Thanks, everybody, for watching the show. You got any final thoughts before we sign off?
Well, go on and read the articles for a little bit more in-depth on our picks.
I'll share that. Go on.
And because, we get into it a little bit more on there, and we may add a couple of extras. So there's other games that we did on there too. So go on there and read that and just see what you think. Always let us know what you think. And next week we'll be doing the NFL too, because they get started.
That's right. Yeah, NFL be going on. And like right now, you can go on there. There's the free pick for Ohio State, Minnesota. You click on that, and he's Papa Dude has broke down all the matchups, the coaching, the secondary linebackers, defensive line, offensive line, receiver, running back, quarterback, all of it. And you get the pick there at the end. You can also, I don't want to show this.
That's the best website there is.
Right down here, this widget's going to be nice. Right now, you've only got a couple of games up, but when the weekend starts, and especially when the NFL starts, you can come right here. It's your resource for all the games. So say you come down here and it's like free picks. Oh, I want to see Boise. You just click that, and there it is. Boise at UCF. Same type of thing. So, yeah, make sure racingdudes.com/sports. Make sure to check it out. He is working very, very hard. Look there, bottom 10. We talked about it. Scott Frost, he's got Nebraska number 8 on the bottom 10, and New Mexico State. They're the worst team right now. So.
Yeah, they lost to UTEP. Big UTEP was number 7.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense to put them there. So yeah, we'll have fun. Like usually, like Mondays and Tuesdays, he'll have his power rankings. He'll have his for NFL. He'll have his bottom 10, and he'll have his top 25. And then when we get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to see more of the previews, the written out previews of the games.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I should have. But, yeah, this sports site, we've had it, and it was very boring and very vanilla. And I said, we're never going to be able to do anything with this unless we put something into it. So you've done a good job making this thing look awesome. I love the site, and I think it's just going to get better. Like I said, I think this is going to be a real good resource come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
We'll get the rest of those. We'll get the rest of those free picks uploaded. Later on today, probably.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. I'll just tell you right now over here. We're going to get those posted up tonight. Once kind of those games, these Thursday games get going, we'll post up the games for Friday and Saturday, Sunday and Monday. And like I said, right now you look at it and say, "Wow, what a great college football site! I love it." It's not just college football. We'll have the NFL as well. But right now, college football, what's going on? So obviously, we're going to cover that. So, all right, guys, this has been great. Once again, love the comments. We so appreciate everybody listening and interacting with us. We want to make this a very interactive show. I think we did a good job of it today. We had a lot of people. So once again, good luck. Go to the site for all the coverage. Like I said, the Friday, Saturday games will be out tonight after these Thursday games are over. So make sure to check that out. By the way, if you like Racing Dudes content, we got 2 more shows. If you see my name, 4-show Thursday, we had the Rocket Hour just an hour or 2 ago. We had this show, and we got the Magic Mike show coming up at 5:30 Eastern, and then Blinkers Off following that. So we're busy today, but that's what we love to do. We love this show, and we love everybody for tuning in. We'll see you right back here on Monday as we talk about what we got right and what we got wrong week 1 of college football.